This ex-TSM fan emailed every single LTA team to ask them why he should be a fan of their team. After moving past the denial that TSM is dead, he wants a new team to cheer and to bug his wife about. He's asking 3 questions. Why should I be a fan of your org? Why should I support your team sponsor? What makes your org special? Basically, why should I be a fan? And surprise, surprise, every single team responded. Now let me take you through every single response. I'll be grading the responses from a very biased point of view, and at the end you can agree or disagree. Starting off with C9, they're the shortest, so why not? I love how most teams are going to talk about how hard it is to be a TSM fan, and they really understand their pain. Basically, Cloud9 is like, hey, look at our actions. Our actions speak way louder than our words. We care about winning, just don't look at last split. Short and concise by Yangxin, the senior marketing manager. Next up, we got this whole thesis written by Joseph Zhang, who's the VP of esports for 100 Thieves. And basically, he wants to demonstrate his fandom, leaving a mark in... Never mind, they're actually leaving. They're not leaving no mark. Moving on. Next up is Disguised. Let's see what they have to say. It's a common theme. They're going to talk about TSM, but for a reason this time. He talks about the best content that TSM probably has made. TSM Legends. Who is that made by? Max Olivo? Oh wait, Max Olivo is actually going to be making content for Disguised. Now that is cool. I love how he related that. But then he goes on and said, you should join our Discord and Patreon. Now I'm not against saying, hey, you should join our Discord because we're a community and you're really going to feel that vibe. But Patreon, I feel like that's not exactly what you want to ask from someone who's asking, why should I be a fan? That's like, why should I buy your product? Well, the reason you should buy our product is you should give us money for free. Yeah, I don't know about that. Then he goes on to talk about how dedicated he is to developing homegrown talent despite his actual team having less than half from NACL. As a matter of fact, he's only really promoted 1 in Scary Jerry, but overall, I thought it was pretty nice. I'll give it a 7. You know what? I'll give it a 6 out of 10 just because he asked for that Patreon. That felt a little weird. But I really liked what he did with Max and like the TSM. Kind of like actually connecting and being like, yo, no. I am on ground. I know what's going on, you know? So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, we got Team Liquid. Now, this is a very professional response. Every single question that he asked has its own little paragraph. We're going to see other teams do that. But I like the formatting. Why should we support your sponsors? I'm going to start with that first. Because they pick their partners very carefully. If their product and quality isn't good, we don't work with them. I feel like that's subjective, but sure. I'll give you 10 out of 10 for that answer. Now, why should I be a fan of the org? We care a lot about winning. And we care a lot about our fans. I said publicly I won't be a Team Liquid hater anymore, so I'm just going to say I'm glad that they are saying that we care about our fans. That's all I'm going to say. And yes, they care about winning probably more than their fans. I will say that. That's the only diss I'll give. Anyways, moving on to the last part, what makes your org special? We're always transparent about our actions. I will say they are probably one of the best teams when it comes to describing why they're doing things. The amount of videos just historically going from, Steve being like, hey, this is the reason we picked up this player or that player, I'll give it to them. And at the end, the guy even gives you a cell phone number if you want more questions. So I'm giving this a solid 10 out of 10 answer. Now, Dig's argument, I wasn't a very big fan of. First, he gives a little bit of background, just kind of connecting and giving a little bit of a personality to who's writing. Then he talks about how they're the last of the OG 8 from NALCS, which I think he's forgetting that he actually left. Like the Dignitas straight up left and came back. So I wouldn't really give it to that. Team Liquid has been here longer, if you think about it. With their merger with Curse, Cloud9 has been here since second split and hasn't left. So I'm not willing to give that to you. Also, trying to talk about Scara and I'm a cutie pie. I don't really think that's a good analogy because they don't really do much with Dig. It's like they're trying to remember remember the good old days. We used to be so cool. You're not anymore. Sorry. I will say, I was not expecting the specialty/uniqueness where he's like, look, I'm a really unique person. You're a really unique person. We're kind of just like the people that maybe don't really fit in with everyone else. We're just us. Sure, I'll give you a 10 out of 10 for that. This segment about sponsors was like not even half as good as what Dodo said in the Team Liquid part. And at the end, I'm not sure if it's a typo or if I just can't understand or if he's not making any sense, but so why should you support where you can because it's not about one, it's about us all? I don't know. Overall, I probably give this a 4 out of 10 just because you're trying to make me recall stuff from 2013. And now we come to Shopify. Now, I am a biased Shopify fan, but I will try my best to be as objective as possible. So, starting off with bias, just kidding. So why should I be a fan of your org? Well, I like that he's honest. We didn't have a good 2024 year, and there's no shame in admitting that. He takes responsibility and says, look, we're not trying to make excuses. We just want to have a better second year than our first year. It was our first year, and sort of the argument is, we're hungry to improve, and yeah, it was our first year. We didn't do great, but we got a long time going forward. The other thing is, while people are leaving, we actually came in. So we really believe in League of Legends. Why I should support your team sponsors? Well, at Shopify, we don't have sponsors. We actually are here to bring value to the fan, not extract value from the fans. Now that answer, I absolutely love. I pointed this out so many times. I love the Shopify model. We're here to build fandoms. Okay, my bias is showing. What makes your org special? Basically, the culture. Now, I don't think they've done a very good job at showing that culture, but I will say from knowing behind the scenes and talking to people, it's there. The culture is awesome. The positivity, like maintaining that kind of positive culture is of the utmost importance, priority to me. He has done a great job at doing it in his first year, and I'm hoping that he's able to consistently in 2025 and beyond keep that culture. Because honestly, I'm not even in there really, and I love it. Overall, I thought maybe the why should I be a fan of your org could have been better, but the other two parts I really liked, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Maybe a 7 out of 10, because what makes your org special, you can't really tell that from the outside, so it might just be like, hey, take my word for it, which other people could be like, oh, our people are really cool, so it's not that unique of an answer. Yeah, I think I'll go down to a 7 out of 10. Now, Lyon Gaming manager Jester, community manager Jester, is not fluent in English, and he apologized multiple times. His English isn't great, so I'm not really going to judge the level of his writing or how well he organized his paragraphs like I did with giving points for Team Liquid or taking points away from someone else. I love how he talks about him coming from Latin America and the fact that they're here, they're fighting these giants in North America, a team that they really haven't been able to, a region they haven't really been able to challenge historically, and how this is a huge challenge for them. And so if you like underdog stories, well, this is the story for you. Now, if another team were to bring that up, I wouldn't really believe it. But the fact that Lyon Gaming's bring this up and be like, look, we're here and we're going to do our absolute best and we just want to make a splash, I kind of like it. 7 out of 10. Last but not least, that leaves us with FlyQuest. Now, Numi is no stranger. She's a very public figure, and she's the marketing manager at FlyQuest, which I think is a promotion, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember her being that, but that's awesome. Now, in Why You Should Be a Fan, she actually not only talks about the LCS team or the League of Legends team, but she talks about the Valorant team. She talks about the Evo team. The Street Fighter team. She talks about basically the whole organization, their CS team, and what they're able to accomplish. Now, I don't know. I don't really rate that as great because he kind of was talking about LTA, but he did also say, I want to be a fan of the entire org. So, I don't know. I do like how often she's saying, look, we're just a fun group of people and we like doing cool things. And as a matter of fact, we actually care about things that you should care about, like keeping the environment clean, like saving stray cats and dogs from the streets, fund public gardens, support clean water. Like these charitable things are part of a FlyQuest identity. And I don't think any other team has really been able to do that. Like, hey, we have an identity outside of everything else. Even if you don't like our players, even if you don't know anything about them. When you think FlyQuest, you think this. She mentions that what she likes from FlyQuest from a fan perspective is that they really just enjoy doing cool stuff. They've hosted EDM shows, red carpets events, produced game broadcasts, and they just really care and they're pretty outgoing. So I do believe it. It's true, and I will give her full points for actually mentioning that. Now, as for their sponsors, I really like how NZXT has a rental PC program.
First off, in light of this investigation, we are proud to award NZXT with our first ever repulsive, most unethical, amoral, corrupt, dishonest, shady, predatory advertiser award.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to dock points away from that, but I'm also not going to judge that because I know they're going through this whole scandal. Overall, I really like this message. Maybe if it was just formatted a little bit better, I'd give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm giving it a solid 9. So who do you think had the best email, and who do you think you will be supporting in 2025? Regardless of whether they win or lose, the team, regardless of their players, the team, the organization itself, which org really speaks to you? And if you don't know that answer, then you should definitely subscribe because I'm going to make the argument over the next year that it should be Shopify.